This is the place I wanted to show you. Herbalist's Meadow, we call it. Pretty, isn't it? When I lived in Nighthaven, I came here to forage all the time. And sometimes I would come here just because I needed a break. From people, I mean. To rest my mind for a while. To lie on the soft grass and look up at the clouds, slowly drifting by. The keepers call this a forest garden. It's half wild and half cultivated. They taught me everything I know about medicinal herbs, but I never really understood the workings of Herbalist's Meadow. The keepers say they work with the forest to make the garden tend itself most of the time. There's always something useful to be found here. Did you used to forage at all where you came from? Might be hard living in a city. Maybe you bought all your food from merchants. I've always foraged. Not just here, but everywhere I went. Whenever I went outside of the palisade, for whatever purpose, I was always on the lookout for herbs, berries, wild vegetables, mushrooms, and so on. Anything useful. It was second nature to me. It made me feel connected to the earth, part of the changing landscape, of the seasons. The place I lived in also lived in me, and I still feel that way. Have you ever felt that strong connection to a place? Not to the people, but to the place itself. The roads and trails, the mountains and valleys, to the soil under your feet, the air you breathe, the familiarity of every nook and cranny. Or walking barefoot outside on a warm summer day, on grass or a dirt road, through dewdrops or on soft moss. When you walk barefoot for the first time in spring, you have to slow down. Your feet are too sensitive, used to wearing shoes all winter. Every step is measured, careful, and your sense of touch sharpens. The soles of your feet feel so much. Half-forgotten sensations, dulled by a long winter. You feel the shape of the ground beneath you, the texture, the solidity, your own weight on it. You walk through grass and maybe it tickles. And when you find a nice spot, you sit down or lay down on your back and just breathe. When I lay down in a meadow like this and drink in the atmosphere, I feel a deep connection to that specific place, that moment. The wind and sun on my face, grass and flowers all around me, their silhouettes against the sky above, birds singing all around, and little bugs buzzing past my face, looking for the best flower. Do you prefer wildflowers or garden flowers? Wildflowers have always been my favorite. Many think that wildflowers are too small, too plain, too pale. Garden flowers are bigger, brighter, more colorful, but they don't captivate me like wildflowers do. They're so tough and so fragile at the same time. Garden flowers are bred for their looks and protected by their owner, given everything they need. Wildflowers have to survive on their own. See the dark green plants right over there? Strong, thick stems and a mess of gangly leaves stretching upwards, all in a tangle. But if you look closer, you can see tiny purple flowers everywhere. Petals so thin the sun shines right through them. You can see the little lines inside of them, like veins, and all the shades of purple and green, with the dappled sunlight shining on and through them. Everything moving slowly back and forth with the breeze, creating an ever-changing pattern of light and shadow on the ground. Right under the trees, there's an interesting one. The little bright green plant with a strange shape. You see it? It's called horsetail or snake grass. You can cook and eat them like any vegetable. There's something about them. I always thought they looked like something ancient, something that has been around forever, older than the forest itself. It's supposed to be very healthy and generally strengthening. Specifically, it can strengthen your hair, your skin, and your nails. I'm not sure I believe that. We could pick a few anyway and have with our dinner tonight. The one with the little clusters of white flowers and hairy dark green leaves is yarrow. It can disinfect a wound and stop bleedings sometimes. We won't be picking it today though. It's the juice from the stem we'll need, so there's no point in drying it. You can usually find some when you need it though. You can find them almost everywhere. There are similar plants that are both edible and poisonous, so make sure you get the right one. Here, this one is sorrel. It's mostly used for food. It has a sharp, sour taste. Try a few leaves and you'll see what I mean. Young leaves are better. The older ones tends to get too bitter. That's the case with a lot of plants though. They taste better or work better before they go to seed. We use sorrel to flavor soups and stews mostly. Not very useful for us right now though. This one is more useful. Fresh and brightly green, with a bunch of thin leaves pointing upwards on each stem. Do you know what it is? Smell it, and you might recognize it. That's right, rosemary, mostly used as a spice, and it is very aromatic, so no wonder. But it's also a healing herb. It strengthens your immune system and helps your body fight off disease. It can also help against headaches. The ones with a yellow center and white petals are chamomile, used as a sort of cure-all, but what they really help against is stress and anxiety. They relax you, and so are often used as sleep aid. There aren't too many of them here, so we'll only pick a few and dry the flowers for tea. The last one I want to show you is the one over there in the shade by the creek. That's hemlock water dropwort. That one is poisonous, one of the deadliest plants in the wilds. It looks lovely like flat leaf parsley, but it wants to kill you. And that's the thing about foraging. You have to be able to recognize plants with certainty. A healing plant can look similar to a poisonous one. There are usually little details telling them apart, like the shape of the leaves or the stem. But if they are very young, it can be difficult to tell. I wanted to remind you that the plants exist for their own sake and have developed according to what makes them survive. They are not here for us. It makes them more genuine, somehow. We are part of the whole, part of the wilds, but we are not the main character. we are not more special than other species. Why don't you try foraging for some of the plants I've shown you on your own for a little bit, and I'll be right over there doing the same thing. Then I'll look through what you've got and make sure it's nothing dangerous. By the time we're ready to leave, we will carry with us a nice little pocket apothecary that we can replenish as we go. The wilds provide everything you need if you know where to look.